Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and welcome to my vlog, where it's both my pleasure and my mission to highlight my creative journey in hopes of inspiring you, giving you specific takeaways, and just making your life a little bit easier along the way. And before I get into things, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already, that way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It truly does mean a lot to me, as I hope it does to you. So, this past week really summed up was twofold, but in regards to the same project. So, I've been working on this feature film that I intend to shoot this year, and so I launched a crowdfund on Indiegogo for it. And, if you've been following along, it's something that I intend to do in July for a specific reason, which I'll announce in the coming weeks. But my friend Ken Napzok invited me on a show called Positivity Report that he was guest hosting on. And he wanted me to come in and, talk to his audience the same way I talk to you. And I was flattered. Now, this was about 2 weeks prior to me going on. And so I just really wanted to utilize that opportunity, not thinking that I was going to get lots of money or whatever, but, it's like the idea that hungry mouths quiet mouths don't get fed, right? So that idea, meaning, just take advantage of the opportunity that was there. And it was a lot of fun. I will say, I thought we had a great show. I've linked to it in the description. You can listen to it. And, the biggest thing for me was this moment where I was validated. And what I mean by that is we were talking about just filmmaking in general. And I talked about this idea that one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, I mean, there's so many things, but one of the most important from a business aspect was if you just go out and make a feature film, and unless it's god-awful, you can get it distributed. That I learned. And, for a long time, this was this was the thing that I kept screaming to all my friends, but it's like no one believed me, right? And Mark Riley, who was also on the show, he had gone through a similar experience, and he confirmed that theory. And so it was just great to be validated in that way. Because truth be told, one of the interesting things I was having a conversation with one of my friends this week about was this constant need to prove myself to my peers, in a weird way. And I'm like, at a certain point, I want to stop doing that. I will jump through hoops for the top agent at CAA, whatever actor, big actor, big producer, big production company, whatever, right? I mean, I will go through those hoops all day, every day, and rightfully so. I don't mind that. But when it comes to my own peer group who, in a sense, I mean, listen, I don't want to put myself on a high horse, but I do try to uplift. And, one of the reasons I continue to make movies that are definitely cost, just even on the micro budget that I'm able to make them on, are costly, right? And, when instead, it would be such a less of a headache if all I did was write fiction, meaning novels, right? It'd just be me and a couple of collaborators that I collaborate with. We would have the time to really go through it. It wouldn't be as costly. We could be as inventive as we want, and so forth. But I enjoy making movies. I do. That's definitely a part of it. But the other half is that I really love working with my friends, and I want to see them succeed. And so that is why I, write them into the script specifically. I write for their voices and so forth, and for their talents to really elevate and make them shine. And sometimes when that gets questioned, it becomes hard. And I was talking with my friend, and we were discussing this, and it's like, his take was, you're always going to have to do that. When you stop having to do that, you'll be too big. And I said, yeah, I know. But the sad part is, if I ever get to that point, then it's going to be, whoever the people around me saying, no, we need to get a big actor, right? And I would be blessed if I got to a big major point and so forth. And ultimately, I think I'd still be a maverick in some sense and, hold my ground on certain casting things and maybe just whatever. But I don't know, it's a high class problem that obviously I'm not dealing with at the moment. But theoretically, that notion was sad to me because it's like, if I ever get to that point, then it's like, I want to work with my friends and help them come up. And, then if I'm at that stage, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, but in a sense, if they, that would be gifting them something because they have to work for that, and not just because of me, just in general, right? I'm the person that says talent is a process, not a skill set. And so the only way to hone your craft is to continue working. And if they're not, then it's like, if I continue elevating, then I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of very theoretical and not very fun to talk about, right? But it's something that has been on my mind. On the plus side, going back to the Ken show, it was a blast. We talked a lot of great things. I love this audience. Like I said, I've linked to the show. Definitely check it out. Some of the stuff, if you're an avid listener, avid watcher, you've heard me say before, but other stuff, just because of the dynamic and the line of questioning, definitely treads into new territory. So, that was fun. And overall, as far as the crowdfund goes, so far, not a lot of backers, right? However, what's been interesting is, so I don't have the quantity of backers, but I have the quality. So every person that's, when I initially made this, I was going to start the crowdfund at $1 and kind of build up from there and cap it at $25. And then I kind of looked at some other ones and so forth. I was like, all right, well, let me kind of mimic a couple of these and start with their tiers of $5 and kind of build from there. And some of them even have $1,000. I was like, I'm not going to go that crazy. I don't know, give $1,000 to me and my project. But I went up all the way to $250, right? So, $250 is the highest one. $100 is kind of the level below that, and it goes, down all the way to $5. And I thought, okay, most people that I know would give $5. And I'm really blown away by the response. Again, not in terms of the quantity, but in terms of the quality, because the people that are, on average, they're giving $50, which is incredible to me, especially after the year that we've had, So I'm truly blessed, and I think if anything kind of comes out of it, it's the culmination of my genuine sincereness throughout my relationship with these people. There's two people that I don't think I know that have contributed, and they contributed tremendously. So I thank them, and the rest have been people that I know. So speaking about the people that I do know, I've cultivated this relationship to get to this point. That was never the end game, but if it was, it's some of these people 7-10 years worth of developing a relationship and kind of participating and doing favors and so forth. So it is very humbling and that that people are this willing to donate and contribute. And as for the two people that I don't know, their donations were generous as well, and I'm humbled by it. I really am. It's such an incredible experience that someone is willing to see my vision for a movie kind of enacted, that they're willing to put money towards it, and it's just really, really incredible. I don't know how else to describe it, but amazing feeling. Now, I said it was going to be kind of a two-parter. So the crowdfund being the primary one, and as far as I knew most crowdfunds that you do. There's a Tim Ferriss article which I'll link to down below about how to really raise money, in terms of crowdfund. But it really comes down to your network and really working that network. So I was texting people, I was emailing people. Now, I didn't get to everyone. I have a whole list of people that I want to kind of just touch base with and update them and so forth. And I've been, I'm not trying to pressure anyone into it. I'm trying to be direct, but without the pressure. And so I'm saying like, hey, here's a crowdfund for a movie that I'm doing. Here's kind of the basics of the movie. More information can be found at the thing. Would greatly appreciate your support, even if that support just means you share through your social media, and then I'll insert a couple of things of, personal stuff so they know it's not just like a mass text or a mass email. I really do try to cater it to everyone. So like, let's say if I sent out 100 texts, I really try to cater each text to each person. And yeah, I also ask them how life is going, and a lot of them will respond, will update me, and it's not just me like throwing a text out into the ether of like, hey, donate to my stuff, and then them responding. No, I do engage with them. For example, there's a friend who I knew was into musicals, so as part of my text to her, I was like, hey, did you see In the Heights? What'd you think? She responded, and then we kind of chatted about In the Heights and so forth, right? So, it's work, but the work is worth it, or at least it has been for me. And, most people who are successful with crowdfunds will tell you this is what it takes. So, I'm happy to do that work. Now, I didn't get to do as much work of it as perhaps I'd like, simply because, I'm working on the rewrite. We're going to be having rehearsals this coming Saturday. And so I want to have a good version of the script to really work with the actors on. And so my main mission for this past week was to get through a rewrite, based on notes that I had received from the people, especially John Comerford, who is a script doctor, screenwriter I work with very intimately on, and he has fantastic notes. And so, I'm like 10 pages away from finishing the rewrite. A lot of stuff has been fleshed out, really fine-tuned and so forth. So my aim is to finish it tonight, and basically send it over to John, so that way he can kind of really touch it up as well, finesse it. I already sent him about 89 pages worth, because I called him on Friday. I said, hey, probably this weekend is when I'll be able to finish everything, but, is it of benefit to get you started on reading it? He's like, yeah, just send me whatever pages you have. So, initially on Friday, I sent him like 70, and then I sent him 89, and so now, I'll send him the rest. And, the idea would be that by like Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, I would want to send it to the cast, because I want them to read it and kind of know what they're getting into. And the way this rehearsal, at least, will kind of work is it'll be like a rehearsal table read hybrid, where we won't go through every scene, and we certainly won't read the action lines as you do in a rehearsal, but instead, we're going to work on the scenes where people are interacting. And, we're going to I'm going to tell them the motivation, where they're at mentally and so forth. And we're going to try to go as chronologically as we can. And I'm going to tell them, what the purpose of the scene is, where everyone's at mentally starting off, where they're at the end of it. And then allow them to kind of, read off the paper, or computer or whatever, and just kind of play with that, right? Not too worried about the physicality of it all, the movement and so forth. Really just more so how they're delivering it, right, emotionally. And so we'll see. That's the goal. I look forward to that. I think it'll be a really good time, and I think the actors they're very talented people, so I look forward to that. The script itself, the way it's headed, it's going to be a little bit long in the sense like, probably like 120 pages, maybe slightly more. And if you're unfamiliar, a page of script generally equals a minute of screen time. So you have 120 pages, that's a 2-hour movie, right? 120 minutes equals 2 hours. So, definitely going to be on a little bit on the lengthier side, but part of it is I want to see how it plays, with the actors, and that'll give me a sense of, okay, what needs to get cut, maybe what needs to get expanded. And of course, John, he'll have his say in it. So, in that sense, I think overwriting is working to my advantage at this stage of it all, So we'll see. But that's kind of the long and short of things overall. The other kind of thing that I'll add as a quick tangent is I've been joining various Facebook groups and following various Instagram accounts that are related to filmmaking, podcasting, and what I will say, I've said it before, but I just want to kind of reinforce it, is social media is ultimately what you make it. And some of this stuff that's out there in terms of how to create stuff, on a low budget and people helping each other, problem solve and so forth is really amazing. So there are people out there that are good, that exist and so forth. And it doesn't just have to be the shallow end of social media. You can really deep dive into some amazing, beneficial stuff out there. And, I think it's good practice of mine that like every 6 months, I think I'm going to just kind of reassess, the accounts that I follow, and so forth, to kind of do a purge of some of the stuff that's no longer beneficial, and, really assess the ones that I am participating on, find some newer ones, and just continue to cultivate that, right? So I would encourage you to do the same if you'd like. It's almost like spring cleaning, but for social media. Do it you can do it once a year, you can do it once every 6 months, like I think I'm going to. Anyway, that's pretty much about it as far as what I've been up to in the grand scheme of things. Thank you for taking time to listen. I truly appreciate you. As always, if there's any questions, ask away, whether in the comments section or hit me up on social media at Svitek. I would love to converse with you in that sense. And if you're watching on the video side and wondering why I'm wearing a soccer jersey, well, we are in the midst of Euro 2020. Yes, they're calling it Euro 2020 because that's when it was supposed to happen. Got delayed a year, obviously because of the pandemic. And this is a Slovakian jersey. And Slovakia, of all things, is actually number one in their group right now. They've got one final match. They're in a group with Spain, Spain, Sweden, and Poland. They tied with Sweden. They've got they beat Poland, and now they've got Spain. So Spain's going to be a tough test, but right now they're sitting at the number one spot. So it'll be interesting. I hope they can get through to the knockout rounds. I don't think they're going to win the Euros, but if they can get to the knockout round, I'll consider that a success. Anyway, thank you, and I hope to see you next time.